Okay, so you want to make money driving. Huh. Well, buckle up because we're going to take a deep dive into how to turn your car into a cash machine.
And we're not just talking your average rideshare gig here.
Yeah, it's way more interesting than that.
We're talking food deliveries, groceries, packages, you name it, even your car turning into a moving billboard.
It's kind of wild how many ways there are these
The
days.
gig economy is exploding with options.
Okay, but let's start with the OGs of the driving gig world, Uber and Lyft.
Right? The rideshare
I
giants.
feel like everyone and their uncle is driving for them these days. Is it even worth it anymore?
It definitely can be, but like you said, everyone's doing it, so you got to be strategic.
Okay, so what's the strategy here?
Think about it. When do people need rides the most?
Weekends, probably. When they're out partying and don't want to risk a DUI.
Exactly. Weekends are prime time. And evenings, too. Think dinner dates, concerts, all that.
And don't forget about holidays. Nobody wants to be the designated driver on New Year's Eve.
You got it. The holidays are like the Super Bowl of ride sharing. Plus, you've got surge pricing and promotions to boost those earnings.
Okay, so timing is key. Got it. But what about food delivery? It seems like there's an app for that on every corner these days.
There's definitely no shortage of options. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, the list goes on.
Right, so is there even enough of the pie to go around?
There's always a slice for those who know how to work the system.
Okay, lay it on me. What's the secret sauce?
Well, one thing your research mentioned was drivers who use multiple apps at the same time.
Whoa, hold on. Multitasking to the extreme.
Pretty much. They'll strategically accept orders based on a bunch of things, like distance estimated time, potential tip, even the restaurant's wait times.
So they're like master strategists of the food delivery game.
Exactly. They're analyzing every angle to maximize those earnings.
That's next level. But it sounds exhausting.
It definitely takes a certain kind of hustle, but hey, if you're organized and efficient, it could pay off.
But it's not just about driving, it's about working smart.
Exactly. And don't forget, knowing your city like the back of your hand is key.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Nobody wants a delivery driver who's navigating with Google Maps and making wrong turns.
Exactly. The more familiar you are with traffic patterns, shortcuts, high-demand areas, the faster you can get those orders delivered and the more money you can make.
So local knowledge is a secret weapon.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And here's where things get really interesting.
Even more interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat.
While those classic gigs still have potential, the gig economy is like a buffet these days. There are so many other delivery services popping up.
Like what? Spill the beans?
Think groceries for starters. Instacart shipped? Those are huge right now.
Yeah, I can see that. People are busier than ever.
Exactly. And then there's package delivery, the old school players like FedEx and UPS, but also newer platforms like Amazon Flex.
Oh yeah, Amazon Flex, I've heard of that.
And there's even an app called Roadie that connects drivers with people who need stuff transported.
Wow, so many options.
Eh,
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for drivers.
it really is. You can find a niche that fits your lifestyle and preferences.
Speaking of niches, let's talk about making money with your car, even when you're not the one behind the wheel. So instead of driving it, we're talking about renting out your car.
Now you're thinking outside the box.
I've heard of Turo, where you rent to regular people.
Right, for personal use vacations, that kind of thing.
But our research also mentioned something called hire car.
Ah, hire a car. That one's interesting. It's specifically for gig workers.
So like if you want to drive for Uber but your car's too old?
Exactly. Or if you don't even have a car but want to get in on the action, hire a car lets you rent directly from other people who are basically using their cars as like little taxi fleets.
Whoa, that's kind of genius. It's like the Airbnb of cars.
That's a good way to put it.
But what about the money? Like if I'm renting out my car, can I just kick back and watch the cash roll in?
Well, it's not quite that passive, but it can be a pretty sweet source of income. Your research on Turo suggested an average of $35 to $50 a day.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
But remember, that's just an average. A lot depends on where you are and what kind of car you have.
Right. Makes sense. A beat-up old Honda Civic in the middle of nowhere probably is going to fetch top dollar.
Exactly. Location is key. Think big cities, tourist destinations, places with high demand. And of course, the type of car matters too. A Tesla Model S is going to command a much higher price than a Toyota Corolla.
Okay, so choose your location and your car wisely. Got it. But are there any downsides to renting out your car?
There are definitely some things to consider. Insurance is a big one. You want to make sure you're fully covered in case something happens.
Oh yeah, that's crucial.
And then there's wear and tear. More mileage means more maintenance.
And potentially dealing with nightmare renters.
That's always a risk, but Platforms like Turo and HireCar have systems in place to handle that kind of thing. They vet renters and handle payment processing, so it's not like you're just handing your keys over to a stranger from Craigslist.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Huh.
So renting out your car definitely has potential, but it's not a total no-brainer.
Exactly. It's about weighing the pros and cons and seeing if it aligns with your risk tolerance and lifestyle.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, ready for another wild idea from the research?
Hit me.
Car advertising.
Ah, yes. Turning your car into a rolling billboard.
Have you ever seen those cars completely covered in ads?
All the time. Especially in busy cities.
It's kind of like a mobile art project, but instead of paint, it's corporate logos.
Exactly. And it can actually be a pretty decent way to make some passive income. Companies will pay you to basically turn your car into a moving advertisement.
How much are we talking here?
It really depends on the campaign, your location, how much you drive, that kind of thing. But your research mentioned companies like Rapify and Sticker that connect drivers with brands looking to advertise.
And what kind of money can you make with them?
It varies, but your research mentioned anything from $100 a month to even 500 or more.
Whoa, that's not bad for just driving around town.
Right. But of course, there are some caveats. You usually have to meet certain requirements, like driving a minimum number of miles in specific areas.
So you can't just park your car in your garage and collect a paycheck.
Not exactly. Some companies might even track your location to make sure you're sticking to the agreed-upon routes.
Wow, Big Brother is watching.
In a way, I guess. But hey, it's all about transparency, right? You know what you're signing up for.
True. Okay, so we've covered renting out your car and turning it into a billboard. What other tricks does the gig economy have up its sleeves? So we've talked about a ton of different ways to cash in on the open road, but with so many options, it's kind of like, which one's right for me?
It's definitely a choose-your-own-adventure out there.
Right, like, do I want to be a rideshare hustler,
Yeah.
a delivery ninja, a car rental mogul, or a mobile billboard model?
The possibilities are kind of endless.
So how do you even begin to narrow it down?
Well, like your research pointed out, it all comes down to figuring out what you're looking for in a gig and how it fits into your life.
Makes sense. Like some people might be all about that flexibility, working whenever they want.
Exactly. While others might crave a bit more structure, maybe they're cool with set hours or a regular route.
And then there's the money side of things.
Yeah. Right. Are you trying to make some extra cash on the side, or are you looking for a full-time income stream?
Yeah, because those are two very different ballgames.
For sure. And don't forget about risk tolerance. Ride sharing and delivery can be up and down depending on the time of year, holidays, events, all that. Whereas renting out your car or doing car advertising offers a bit more stability.
Okay, so it's all about finding that balance between what you're comfortable with and what you're hoping to achieve.
Exactly. It's about choosing the path that aligns with your personal goals and lifestyle.
And being realistic about the potential downsides too, right? I mean, wear and tear on your car, gas prices, all that jazz can eat into your profits.
Absolutely. You got to factor those things in. Regular maintenance is key. And it's smart to have a plan B in case things slow down.
All right, like maybe diversify your income streams a bit. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and all that.
Now you're thinking like an entrepreneur. Diversification is never a bad idea. Try out different platforms, see what works best for you. Don't be afraid to experiment.
So be adaptable, be strategic, and be ready to pivot if something's not working.
Exactly. And most importantly, stay informed. The gig economy is constantly evolving, so what works today might not work tomorrow.
True, that's the Wild West out there. But
Yeah.
hey, that's part of the excitement, right?
Totally. It's all about embracing the unknown, being open to new opportunities, and finding your own path to success on the open road.
And on that note, listeners, we're calling it a wrap. We've explored the ins and outs of making money, driving from the tried and true to the totally unexpected.
We've talked about the importance of strategy, timing local knowledge, and finding the right fit for your lifestyle.
And we've even dipped our toes into the future of transportation where who knows what exciting possibilities await.
The open road is calling, so get out there, explore your options, and see where the journey takes you.
And remember, the best adventures are often the ones we least expect. Until next time, happy driving.